Okay, so let's make a few changes and see what we can get in a few prompts. And let's check it out. And yeah, that's pretty good motion design. I need to chat with my graphic designer. I don't know if I need them anymore. You know, it's easy to say that AI is changing everything and doing all of these amazing things, but the actual business use cases are often not that clear. So today, instead of just talking about it, I want to give you 5 very practical AI things that you can try out this week in about 5 minutes and that will have a real impact in your business. And here is the first one. And before we get into new shiny tools, a big thing to optimize is going to be the AI tools that you're already using. So for a lot of people, that's going to be their favorite LLM like ChatGPT. So let me give you a few optimizations there and some features that you may not have seen yet in ChatGPT. So this one has been revamped recently, and that's the connector inside of ChatGPT. So I'm in my settings, and if you go to connectors, you'll be able to see that. And you can connect your Gmail, your Google Calendar, and your Google Drive, as well as your GitHub and Google Contact if you use that. And once you've connected your Gmail, for example, you don't even have to select it here or to try to add it for some context. It will automatically know to call in that tool whenever you talk about your Gmail or your email in general. Okay, so here is an example using my own Gmail, and this is a conversation that I had with a client. And without even asking it to check my Gmail, it just knew what I was talking about and give me a bit of a summary about the last email and what we were talking about, and even just give me a link for me to open the conversation in Gmail if I wanted to. Now, something to note here is that it's able to read your emails, but it's not yet able to just draft or send the email for you inside of ChatGPT. So obviously you can ask it to, draft a reply in here and then copy paste it in Gmail to be able to send it, but it's not going to yet be able to take an action for you inside of Gmail and just send that email right from here in your chatbot. Also, it can take a couple minutes to read through your email, so just don't use it for something that would take you 30 seconds because you're not going to save much time there. And as I said, this also works for Google Calendar. And this was in the browser version of ChatGPT, but something else that I've started to do a lot more recently is just to use the desktop app version of ChatGPT. First of all, because I found it to be a lot faster and to not crash as much. Like when I have a long thread in ChatGPT, it tends to just take forever or even just crash the whole browser window, and I have to just reopen it in a different tab. But it also has some additional features not available in the browser version of ChatGPT. So let me show you a few of those. So one of those features that is only available right now in the desktop app is going to be the record button, and that's this little thing right here, which will, listen into what's happening on your screen, whether that's you in a Zoom meeting or something else. It can just sit into your online meeting and just take notes, just like, something like Fireflies or Auto AI would do, all directly inside of ChatGPT. That's a pretty cool feature you can try out. Something else you can do here that you couldn't on the browser would be connecting other apps so that it has some context. For example, I could have something going on in my Notion and it would have this context to know what I'm talking about. Or the screenshot feature right here, which would allow you to just take a screenshot of another window and have it directly uploaded here. But even some small other things, like for example, it can check your grammar. You can select different map provider if you wanted to. Just some other small settings that could matter and customize a little bit more of your ChatGPT. So yeah, if you're only using the browser version, give the app a try and you'll find a few things that make your life a lot easier. Okay, so this second one had a lot of hype around it in the past couple of weeks, and for once, maybe this hype was a little bit warranted. So Qwen just released a new version of their image editor, and it's actually really good. And I'm going to do a quick comparison with the ChatGPT image generator, and it's really good at character consistency. So something that's really problematic for me in ChatGPT, for example, is that if I give it an image and just ask it to change one small thing, it might change that thing, but it's also going to change everything else and sort of ruin the image and something that I don't really want to use anymore. But so let's do a quick comparison. So here is the prompt, here is the image. I just want to make it turn the dog facing to the right. And here is the result. So you can see it didn't change much else in the image. I mean, the dog is maybe a bit closer and, there might be some small things that are changing, but overall, it's really consistent between the two images. Compare that to ChatGPT, which first of all is a lot slower. This new Qwen model is actually really fast, but I gave it the same prompt and here is the results. Again, it just changed everything else, meaning that now the whole posture of the dog is on the other side. And it might not be a big deal for you, but for some pictures and some graphics, it's going to matter a lot. And again, this new Qwen model is a lot faster. So you can use it for like small edits on your graphics, or if you need to generate some split testing between different images for your ads. Another use case would be when you found a pretty good stock picture, but there's just one thing in that picture that you want to change, but you don't want to change anything else. You just want to change that one thing in the stock picture. And now you can do that easily and for free in this new Qwen image editor. When you do need to create something from scratch, this next tool will help. Okay, so this next one was available for some time, but it wasn't beta waitlist and it wasn't publicly available. But now it is, and this is an AI tool called Era to create motion design. So let me show you some examples and use cases regardless of the business you're in. So you can definitely start from scratch, but they also have a bunch of templates that I really like. And you have a bunch of categories here, and you'll be able to create these kind of animation. And that would be something that takes quite a bit of time if you're not a graphic designer. And so you can create this kind of very easy infographics and just with some prompts and using this kind of template, and then just prompt to change anything that you want. So for example, this one is a very simple infographic that shows a timeline for the launch of a company and different stages that they've been through. And I could prompt this to change the text, to change the color, to change anything else. There is also a point and prompt feature that I think is really cool. So when you select this, you can just select a particular element and change that directly, either via prompting or just changing the style itself. And so I think there's several use cases in your business where that can be really useful. So if you're putting together a presentation, and again, you just want to add a little bit of something to that, so a bit of motion and dynamism, then that could be a really easy tool to use to do that in your presentation, in your slides. Any content marketing that you do, whether that's a blog, in a video, or somewhere else, having these motion graphic is going to elevate your design and just make things a lot easier to digest. Or on your landing pages, on your sales pages, again, having those things just sort of elevate your brand and the page itself, and will make it a lot more visually appealing for the user. Or if you just want to create a quick mock-up for a client, and again, just sort of wow them, you can use this and in just a few prompts, have this mock-up to show the clients and sort of add this wow factor to your presentation. There's really a bunch of ways you can use this in your business. And I'm on a free plan and it's plenty to do quite a few things. So, give it a try and see how far you get. Okay, and this next one is another example of optimizing the tools that you're already using with AI. So Notion has released a new feature, and now the AI can actually do something. So I use Notion every day, and to be honest, all of the AI features that they had so far, I didn't really find that useful. But this one is finally something that I can see some use cases for. So for example, this is a page in my Notion, and I have a bunch of ideas for content and things that I need to write about. And it's a bit all over the place, it's a bit messy. So I could ask this new AI feature in Notion to create a nice and clean database for this. So let's try it out. And in just a few seconds, it created it. So let's check it out. And it's pretty good as a one-shot prompt. Again, it just listed out all of my ideas and adding a bunch of things that I didn't have, like the categories or the priority. Obviously, it's a bit random. And again, just making something that would take me, half an hour to make in just a few seconds. So pretty cool if you're already using Notion. I don't know if I would switch from another platform to Notion just for this. But if you have a lot of messy pages, just like I do, then this can be something to try out. Okay, so a lot of people these days are trying to build their own AI agents. But sometimes it's just easier to hire one that's already been made and that's already working. And guess what? There are marketplaces for this. The most popular one being Agent.ai. If you've heard of them but haven't checked them out in a while, then go back there and do it again, because they have added a ton more and a lot of cool things to try. So if I go to the Agent network, I'll be able to see some of the most popular ones. So most of those are going to be slightly more sophisticated version of a custom GPT. And right now they have over 1,800 of them. So there's definitely going to be some that could be useful for you, depending on your business and your use cases. Another way to use this would be for you as a lead magnet. So a lot of people right now are using Custom GPT as a lead magnet, as a freebie that they give away to the user in exchange of their email. But I found those to be a lot of time a bit underwhelming, because you can't really control what the AI is going to say and the quality of the output that it's going to give to the user. What you could do instead is to leverage the massive network that Agent.ai has and the user base that they have, and create your own agent in the platform so that you can use it as a lead magnet. So here is an example from TechPresso, and they have created their own LinkedIn profile optimizer, which again is just a people pleaser, something that a lot of people will find useful. And in order to use it, you have to give away your LinkedIn profile, of course, your desired position, and your email. And TechPresso is a newsletter that gives you news around tech. And obviously what they want is your email, because that's going to be something they use to add you to their newsletter, which is the core of their business. So you can think out of the box here and again, leverage the network, the user base that Agent.ai already has, and do this kind of thing for your business. Now, another tool that I haven't mentioned today, but that you should definitely check out is V0, which is a AI no-code builder by Versal. And I made a whole video about it to go in depth about how it's potentially better than Lovable. So go ahead and check it out if you haven't yet. But if you just want to keep updated with new AI automations and things you can implement in your business, then go ahead and subscribe to my free newsletter. That's going to be in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.